We are halfway through the year, which means we are that much closer to Christmas. And today I have a special Christmas in July video for you. Hi there, my name is Sonja, and this is Domestic Diva DIY, where I share home decor DIYs on a budget, as well as tons of furniture makeovers and other home-related DIYs. If that is something you enjoy, please make sure you like and subscribe so you can become part of my YouTube family. For today's video, I have decided to create some neutral Christmas decor. But before we get started, I just want to mention that today's video is part of a collab with my best friend Sandra from the Schwoman's Nest. Make sure you check out her channel after you are done watching mine. A link will be in the description box, and please let her know I sent you. And if you are stopping by from her channel, welcome. I'm so glad that you are here, and I hope you enjoy what you see and stick around. So let's get started. For my very first DIY, I will be using these garden sticks. They are like the garden label sticks where you can write down what you're planting. I usually pick these up during springtime because there are tons of ways to use them besides the garden. So I will be using 2 packages in this one. I'm not going to get through the first one completely. And then I'm also going to be using 2 of these Christmas trees. These are from Dollar Tree, and I love using these throughout my house because I like adding Christmas trees everywhere when I'm decorating. And these small ones are super inexpensive, and you can spruce them up by adding more trees to the putting 2 trees together, or just adding some extra branches. You can even spray paint them. Tons of different ways to use them. So now I'm just cutting these sticks into 3, 6, 12 equal sizes, and then I'm cutting the leftovers that I've cut off into 8 more shorter strips. So I will be creating sides. So I'm making a box for the Christmas tree. So for each side I'm using 3 of the long ones and 2 of the short ones to keep them together. So I repeat the same process for all 4 sides. And then once this has been assembled, I'm going to be staining it. Now I am going in a different direction with my home decor this year because we're actually right in the middle of a huge reno of the main floor, and I'm completely changing my style, and I'm going even more than I used to, with a more neutral colored decor, a lot of like natural elements that you would see outside. I'm bringing them in the colors, the textures, and all of it. So this is the way I'm going with this tree base that I'm making. So before I actually stained it, I did cut another 2 long ones, and I cut them in half, and then I just cut angles on each, so they're opposite angles, so that way I can put them across the top of each side just to create more of a crate looking look for this. So again, I do this for all 4 sides, and I have cut 2 sticks in half. And now they're ready to be stained, and I'm going to be mixing 2 stains together in equal amounts, so 2 teaspoons of each. One is weathered oak and the other one is Old American. I'm actually using and it's I think it's a Minwax stain, yes. And this is actually the stain that I'm going to be making over my kitchen table with. So I really wanted to try it out. I know that depending on what type of wood you're putting, the stain's gonna look different on each type of wood, but I really love the way it looked on these crates. I have a feeling once I add it onto my oak, it will be a little bit darker and maybe a hint more orangish. So while those were drying, and as you saw, I applied them with the rag, I am going to fluff up my tree. And I originally was going to just use one tree, but then I did feel that it wasn't full enough. So after I was done adding some chalk paint to it, just very little, just to give it a hint of snow on it, I did end up adding another one just kind of halfway to it. Now the way I did that is I removed the bottom square off, and then I had used some branches as well as some hot glue and some twist ties to keep it all together. I did try using this wire, but it was a little bit hard to wrap it around, so I started off by wrapping the branches just to keep it in place, and then I added some hot glue and finished it off with some twist ties, or one of those zip ties, sorry, not twist ties. Once that was all nice and secured, I did fluff up the tree, trimmed off any excess of the zip ties, and then added a little bit more snow onto it, or the chalk paint, spray chalk paint. So now I'm going to assemble my crate or my tree box just by applying tons of hot glue to each side and waiting enough time for it to take and dry. Once it was dry, I just added a tree just to see how it looked, and here it is. I did add some burlap to the bottom of it just to fill it in. I think this is going to look great on any small shelf. For my next one, I am using this, I think it's 18 by 20 canvas that I had picked up from Dollarama, and I'm going to remove the canvas part off, but just by cutting it, because I don't need the whole piece. And then once that's cut, I will remove the rest of it off as well. This is just a little bit easier. I did not want to have to go and remove each individual staple, so now I'm just ripping this off because I'm only going to be using one side of this frame. Now it did come up, the frame did come apart on me a little bit, so I put it back together, and I did add a touch of glue on each piece just so it sticks better together. Now I did flip one the wrong way, so I did have to take it apart, just that one side, and then fix it while the glue was still wet. Now, using that same stain that I used for the previous DIY, I'm going to stain the frame. Now you can see how different the stain turned out on this wood, but I still love it because it still has this pretty much the same tone. Then I took my pencil and I just wrote out what I wanted on it. I did find an inspiration on Pinterest for the writing, just the style of writing, so that is what I'm doing, but I often make mistakes, so I wanted to do it with a pencil first before I went over it. Now I was planning on using a gray chalkboard marker that I picked up at Dollar Tree, but it was not showing up at all on the canvas, which you will see in a little bit. But I guess it must have been just white chalk paint. I'm not sure whether I bought the wrong one or what happened, but it was not working, so I did end up using a black chalk marker. As you can see, I just went over some of them just to thicken them up. I just love the way this looks. And now it's time to put it together, and I'm just going to hot glue the frame to the top of it. Now this time you might need to trim off some canvas if your canvas was a bit bigger, but I was okay. None of the canvas was sticking out past the frame. I think this is going to look good, especially paired up with that tree. For my last DIY, I needed to add a little bit of texture to my DIYs that I've created, so I decided to make a small pillow by using the drop cloth. I get these at Dollarama. They are $4 for, I think it's 8x8 or 8x10, which is a decent size. I was actually considering using these as my curtains. Let me know if you have used these as curtains and if they are working out, how they're doing, and all that sort of stuff. I would love to know. I just love the look of it, and I think it would look good in my space downstairs. So as you can see, I glued down, I had it folded, so I did not have to glue down one side, two sides, but I did glue two sides, and one side I didn't have to, and then one side I left open for stuffing. I did use my Cricut to cut the burlap shape of a deer head, and then I using a rotary blade, and this works really well. However, the burlap is a little finicky when cutting. It can come apart, so just be careful. And then I just had glued that to the pillow. Now I was all out of actual pillow stuffing, so I'm just stuffing it with some extra fabric that I had left over that I probably won't be using, and then I am just hot gluing the bottom where I left it open shut. You can also just use it as a pillowcase if you have just cut it to the size of the pillow that you have. Mine was very small, as you can see, but you can totally have a bigger size pillow. It's up to you. Same with the canvas. You can make it as big as you want, as well as the Christmas tree. Well, I hope you had enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're stopping by for the very first time, and also don't forget to check out Sandra's channel, which is linked in the description box. So until next time, hope you guys have a wonderful day, and thank you all so much for watching.